All right, I'm going to show you how I shuck oysters with my technique and my little oyster knife coming out of Zyliss now. So what I do is I take the oyster, teardrop shape will show you where you want to open the oyster. The pointy part is where you want to do it. And then all oysters have an adductor muscle on the inside that attaches here, 2/3 of the way up on the right-hand side of the median. So right there, on every oyster, you're going to see this happen. So all I do is I take the oyster and I put it in my hand naturally. I want to turn the oyster knife like a key in a lock, sort of a 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock turning supination. You crack open that hinge, you insert the blade, crack open the hinge, scrape the top off, turn the oyster, scrape the bottom. I'm going to walk through this technique with you so that we can show you how to get it done. Hold the oyster. Now I have a fancy oyster glove, so you can use a glove like this or you can use a cloth. But what I do is I hold on the oyster, so more force here. It does not move, no wiggling. More force here, less force here. Into the hinge. Wiggle till it sets. Quarter turn, 3 to 6. Break that hinge. Pry it open by pushing down on the bottom shell and then push up with your knife and index finger, bringing it up. Scrape off the top shell so that you loosen that top shell off. Once you see that spot, you're loose. Save the shell. Take the oyster, turn it. Look for any grit or loose shell. You want to remove it with your knife tip as well. Right here is the button, the adductor muscle where it's attached underneath. Take your oyster knife, rotate it to the 6 o'clock position, hard knife on the bottom shell, scrape and push. So you scrape on the bottom shell and push that adductor muscle off the little black spot. Once you see that black spot, you're loose and ready to go, like this. And so I place this here. I'm going to grab the next oyster like such. Hold on to it, into the hinge, quarter turn, pop it. Pry it up, scrape across the top, look for, here's some grit here. You want to remove that grit. Underneath here, the adductor muscle, place it and grab the next one. And that's sort of how we open up oysters. This oyster knife was designed by myself a long time ago. I have a degree in kinesiology, so I was thinking that I wanted something that was more ergonomically designed, that fits my hand better and has a better transfer of kinetic energy from my body to the tip of the knife to open up that oyster with less force. You can see that little snap, the little quarter turn, is a great way of popping that hinge. Look for that grit. Make sure you get rid of that. And you want to make sure the oyster looks really nice. So if there's any cuts or anything, you can spread it back to make sure it looks nice. And all you got to do is scrape underneath. It's a scrape too. It's not a slice. You're not trying to cut bread or slice sashimi. You're just scraping it off the top part. Look for the grit and scrape it off the bottom as such. As I'm taking the oyster in my oyster hand, once I'm done, I place it on the tray. Arrange it kind of nicely as best as possible. I would normally have ice there. Then I grab the next one with my knife hand. And this is how you effectively work both hands and being very efficient in your motions. And that's how you'll save time. And eventually saving time means you'll be quicker at creating a plate of oysters. But no one needs to be too quick right now at the beginning. You just want to make a nice, clean, beautiful looking oyster like these ones right here. Whoops. Sometimes that'll slip in pretty quick. Grab the next one. Sometimes the oyster will cleave like this one. This oyster knife comes right out of the box ready to go, and that's what this is here. It's right out of this box. And the edge is perfect, the tip is just right, and that allows you to open up that oyster, come across the top, hit that bottom, and create that plate of oysters. That's a whack of oysters, working with my Zyliss oyster knife called the ShuckerPaddy, and that's me. World champion, Guinness Book of World Records oyster shucker. Keep on shucking.